Welcome to WagerTalk Today, the gold standard of sports betting shows where we talk the talk and walk the walk. New week, it's Monday. We got to talk about NBA playoff, MLB action. Got a lot of good things on the board. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Dan, how was your weekend?
Weekend was fine, man. We lost our lone lacrosse play 4%er. That's how it goes sometimes. But we're gonna be backfiring conference championships, conference tournaments, right around the corner. So it's bounce back mode for us here on a Monday. But NBA playoffs have been really good for Andy and the squad here. So we have a little bit to talk about with that. But as far as this show today, folks, what are you getting here? Well, Gianni the Greek is back. That's right. The Steam report coming your way. What are we seeing? NHL playoffs, the Stanley Cup playoffs in full swing. My Flyers get a win over the weekend with a 19-year-old scoring a game winner. Yes, I'm calling them my Flyers again, fully front running, Andy. But we're going to talk NHL playoffs, MLB daily action. We got some plays in that as well. And Gianni will also let us know what are we seeing? What are his power rankings telling him as well in the NBA playoffs? Crackman is back. Man, that's right. He was traveling because he was at the Masters, so we didn't get to chat with him last week. He's got a playoff prop for you coming your way. We're also going to get some thoughts on these leagues that are in action and any futures maybe that you should be firing in on. And then Steve Merril, 2 R's, 1 L, 2 baseball games, 1 NBA game coming your way. Dodgers, Rockies, Blue Jays, Angels. So both the LA games, we're going to have free plays in those. Raptors and Cavs coming your way. Steve will also let you know where you can hear him break down every single NBA playoff game. That with Andy's free plays, folks, a loaded Monday show. Hit that like button. And if you haven't already, folks, hit that subscribe button. Help us grow the near 250,000 people that are tuning into this channel. Hit that subscribe button, Andy. Let's get into it, brother.
All right. Do you want to do play of the day? Get the people started with their
let's go play it because this thing's been smoking 3 straight on the play of the day. Let's get into it.
Absolutely. All right, we'll do the free play of the day. We're going to go with Dante DiVincenzo over 2.5 made threes. The most attractive thing about this is the price, plus 120. And this guy played 31 minutes in the first game. And you see this in the playoffs where the lineups get really, really short. They put their best players in and they just leave them in there. So DiVincenzo plays 31 minutes and he goes 4 of 7 from 3-pointers. He had 12 points. Every single point was from a 3-point shot. So if you're going to give me a guy that's going to play 31 minutes, that's going to take 7 3-point attempts with the hit percentage that he has, then I'll definitely take his over 2.5 at this plus 120. Great price on a great prop. So look for that as the play of the day.
Yeah, I love this one, Andy, especially because we're finally getting an NBA prop for the folks. Last week, we end up going 3-2. We hit 3 straight. All of them have been at MLB. The team's been seeing NBA really well right now. So let's go with DiVincenzo over the 2.5 made threes. And if you grab it now, you can still get it a little plus money. I like the play, Andy.
Yeah. But I was thinking about trying to do something with your Phillies, who are now back to not being able to score once again. But amazing the one play we used with the Phillies, their bats go ballistic.
No, that was the one game when their bats go crazy. So that's why they're just on the do not bet list right now. Them and the Mets, unless you're finding unders to bet, it's the do not bet list for sure.
All right, let's bring in Gianni. Let's talk about the weekend. Let's talk about the week ahead. Good morning, Gianni. Happy Monday.
Good morning. Good morning, boys.
How was your weekend?
Amazing. Great weekend. I'm a little mad right now. I'm looking at the meta chart and I'm pissed. Because it had dropped down to that 382 Fibonacci level like a couple weeks ago, and I picked up a couple shares, but not. And now it's up like 20-30% since then. So a little disappointed. But real quickly, as far as sports markets go, it's been great. No surprise. As I get more data in baseball, that profit continues to climb, sitting at number 2 in profit in baseball. Finished the NBA regular season with profitable already in the NBA playoffs. And I'm pretty sure we're number 1 over the last 3 days, over the last 7 days. Because like I said, we've been running really, really hot. But stay the course. Like I told subscribers, just manage risk correctly. And I'm going to do my job. As long as our goals are aligned and your goal is the same as mine, I won't disappoint you. But if our goals are different, then I will disappoint you. And I have one goal, and that's to be profitable year over year. So I don't grade myself until December 31st. I don't get too excited when I'm running this hot, and I didn't get down on myself when I was running cold a couple weeks ago. I just manage risk correctly, and that's why we're up for 2026, and we'll continue adding profit. It was a great steam room on Saturday. Great card in MMA as well. Kyler Phillips let me down, or I would have made a big score. But everything's good, man. And it's a great time. I always say that. But right now we got NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, MLB. And don't forget to check the free picks every day over there at WagerTalk.com. I share a lot of the tennis premiums and the soccer premiums. And those results speak for themselves. We've been kicking ass. So big week ahead. Let's start with a winning Monday.
Yeah, I would have had a pretty decent MMA week if it weren't for the judges and the Jamie Lynn Horth fight. That was that was my big L for the weekend. Was
you know what's crazy? I had the other side of that, and I was ready to go to Polymarket and start betting on Horth, like thinking that the judges read it wrong. I wonder how many guys are doing that. Like, you know what I mean? There was a lot of scores made over the mistakes the last couple of weeks, and I thought that was a mistake because I had JJ Aldridge. So for me, it was a free bet. I swear I was looking for that bet. Did they make a mistake on Polymarket or Kalshi? Because I'm like, there's no way. I'm glad I cashed that 4% ticket, but we were definitely on the wrong side of that JJ Aldridge fight. But yeah, I'll take it. Sometimes you get lucky.
Yeah, when we were doing our live show, that's what the chat was saying. The chat was like, did they read the scorecards wrong again? They read the scorecards wrong once again, didn't they? Because there's no way. I think she was like plus 10,000 at the end.
Yep.
So what are we looking at in the NBA markets here? We'll give you guys plays in every single game, but what are we seeing in the market so far?
Immediate moves when these lines went up, and there's no surprise. Sharps are going to get out ahead of the market. That's the goal. Sometimes it's a legit position. Other times it's strictly a case of getting out ahead of the market. And when you have CLV already built in, you could make a lot of choices days later, hours later in this case. Here's what we got. 501 under, 225, 224, and 223 in Toronto, Cleveland. Hasn't been touched today. That was bet under as soon as that total went up. And not surprising. I mean, a little bit surprising, forgive me, because that was the one game that actually went over in that first day of the playoffs. When it went Cleveland and over, but they're coming back and Sharps are going under in game 2. So that to me looks legit. It doesn't seem like they're getting out ahead of the public, because I expect the public to come in on the over, kind of like in game 1. In New York and Atlanta, they're betting the over, going over 217. That's the sharp money. First game went Knicks and under, obviously. And then in Denver, first game went Denver and under. So remember that Saturday, I think it was Friday or Saturday, and Cleveland covered that first game, and the public was actually on the dog in that one. And then they had Denver and New York, and both those favorites cashed. So I'm not too sure if this is a case of the Sharps getting out ahead of the public, who's going to be on Denver again tonight, because they laid minus 6.5 at minus 110 on Denver. And at minus 115, they didn't take it. Like I got minus 115. I didn't get a fire reply. So they were only up to 110. So to me, that kind of, I always question those kind of moves. And then the over 231 in that game. So again, the first game for New York and Denver both went under. Sharps are coming back betting the over in game 2 in both of those games. And then in the Cleveland game, they went over in game 1 and over now under in game 2. That's what's going on as far as what the Sharps are doing. But keep in mind, most of the sharp money in the NBA playoffs is coming in team totals, player props, second halves. I can't stress that enough. These are small early positions. And other than the totals, I don't put too much stock in the sides. In fact, as I've explained to my subscribers, fortunately, I have a lot of confidence in our power rating. So when we get to the postseason, I'm still able to fire on these sides and totals with success, because what happens is the floodgates kind of close down. Like the betting syndicates know the lines are really sharp, really tight around this time, and they're looking for those softer, inefficient markets. So they're not getting a lot of these sides and totals in NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs. And speaking of NHL, only one side got bet early, and that was Dallas at minus 125. So, yeah, a little bit of playoff action. Of course, don't forget there's Major League Baseball as well today.
Awesome stuff. What was the take on the Magic Pistons game? That was obviously the biggest surprise. I'm kicking myself because that was such a buy low spot on Orlando. Everyone counts them out. Everyone writes them off. They looked horrible in the first playing game. Then they wax Charlotte, and everyone still writes them off on a Pistons team that hadn't played a meaningful game in like 2 weeks. Like, it was such an obvious. I'm so mad I didn't pick that one.
It was like 9 out of. We were on Orlando power rating wise. Nice. I made the line 6.5. So I thought that, we were already getting value. It was almost my 5%. But because I had 4 plays that day, like I've only been having like 2 plays max in playoffs, even there's like 4 games. But yesterday we had 4 bets. So I said, let me spread the risk out instead of zeroing in. But here's why Orlando made the most sense, because they were the most balanced coming in. Like they had, even though they're not in the top 5, they're top 15 offense, top 15 defense, but more importantly, that was against the 6th toughest strength of schedule. On the flip side, Detroit may be 7th offensively, 6th defensively, so they're balanced as well, but that was against the 30th toughest schedule. So obviously, Detroit should have the much better record and higher rating, but power rating-wise, I thought the game was closer, and it turned out that way. I didn't have Orlando money line. I won't even lie. I didn't even sprinkle anything. I didn't think so, because usually these teams win that game 1 at home. Usually defend that home court, especially in the NBA and NHL playoffs, where 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7, they're so lopsided. You know what I mean? Like, rarely are you going to get the 8 that's going to win a series over the 1, or the 2 that's going to win a series over the 7. So I don't have the confidence really to sprinkle that money line like I do, during March Madness if I'm going to bet a dog. But I need to start remembering, even in the NBA, you take a plus, 8 plus 9. Why not sprinkle a couple percentages of that bet on the money line?
Yeah, I mean, before that game, you had, a 123.91 in the Celtics, 76ers, 119.84. I mean, those
all
series
favorites.
Look like
It's been favorites. Look, Saturday, Cleveland, Denver, New York. The only thing that came in was the Lakers, who won on the money line. And then yesterday, the same thing. Boston, Oklahoma City, San Antonio. Only dog wins on the money line. Like, if that's not a reminder for us to jot a little note, if you're going to bet a dog, don't be afraid to sprinkle money line. Again, that's a recency bias if I've ever seen it. But still, it does make sense, because at this time of the year, you do expect these teams to be highly motivated, number one, so you don't have to quantify motivation. They all should want to play. And number 2, if you're in the playoffs, you're decent. Even if you're the 8th seed, you're not in the bottom half of the NBA or in the bottom worst 10 teams. Again, you're lower power rated. Like, for example, I may have Orlando as the 17th best team in the NBA, but we're not talking about the 20th, 25th, 27th. They're not like the bottom worst teams. So we'll get some dogs that cover some of these spreads. But no surprise to see the bettors on the favorites, and they're doing the same thing now today. Like, they're betting these favorites. I'm looking at the NBA, and they're already betting the Knicks. They're already betting the Nuggets. They're coming back with the Nuggets. So it looks like the Sharps got out ahead of the market there. And the only dog I wouldn't be surprised to see is Toronto, because they bet Toronto in game 1. They took them in game 1, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them come back and bet them in game 2.
Anything in MLB? I know you mentioned there's only one NHL thing as well. So what are we looking at in MLB? We have a game that's already started. That was at the Marathon.
The Red Sox.
11 a.m. baseball game.
There you go, baby. Eggs and eggs.
No surprise they went under 8.5 there. They probably figured these guys are still half asleep, or else they went out partying last night as well. So they may be a little bit tired. But here's what we got so far. 951 over 8, St. Louis, Miami. 954, Washington, plus 148. 956, Cubbies, minus 105. And the under 8, minus 120. Colorado plus 220, Colorado plus 210. They've been betting that Rockies team. 961. Houston in the under 8 at minus 115. LA Angels at plus 110. And finally, the Athletics at plus 140, plus 135, which goes to show you, don't be afraid, to bet these dogs in Major League Baseball. I always see, because I get to look in the back end, and the only thing I see is like they're betting nothing but favorites. They parlay favorites, they bet just favorites. And in baseball, again, it's not a recipe for success, because we talked about it here in real deep detail going into last season. MLB teams just don't win, 65, 70% of their games. And it's even right now, looking at the first place teams, Texas is at 500. Cleveland is 156%. The Yankees haven't even won 60%. Even right now, it's only in the NL have teams outperformed, and that's Atlanta, Cincinnati, and LA and San Diego, which all won. You could throw in St. Louis in there as well, especially St. Louis, because they're a bottom 10 team. St. Louis is as phony as a $3 bill. You could start fading them probably tomorrow. But those are 5 teams that have already outperformed what is expected. Like Atlanta's not going to win 70% of their games. Even the Dodgers aren't winning no 70%. Padres ain't winning no 70%. Again, do you start fading them now? They're going to regress over 162 games. But you still have to make note of that. Some of these teams that jump out way ahead. And more importantly, also some of these teams in baseball that have started off really slow. Like you look like right now, real quickly, look at the Mets. Look where the Mets are at. Mets are 7-15, right? They're 8 games out of first place. I would bet right now, you give me plus 150, you give me plus 130, and I will bet you that the Mets finish 1 or 2 in that division. That they either win the division or finish number 2 at the worst is what the Mets do. So there are teams that are on that side as well, which, I expect to do a lot better. That aren't playing well right now. So that's what I love about baseball. I start each week where I write down a couple undervalued teams, a couple overvalued teams, double check them power ratings, and look for positions. So far, so good.
All right. What do you have up for everyone on Monday?
All right. So far, no package, except if you're partnering with me for the week, the month, the year, which is what I like. Because I have released plays and I'll continue to do so. Haven't put up a Steam sheet yet because I haven't confirmed the premium in Major League Baseball. I do have NBA coming. I only trying to decide whether it's going to be a 5% or a 4%. That's why that package isn't up. But over the next 60 minutes, I will have my NBA playoff package. Check back for NHL playoff package for the daily guys. And of course, Steam sheet will be up if I could confirm baseball. If not, the subscribers will continue getting it like I've been doing. Just 3-4%ers, 2-3 premiums in baseball. And like I said, we're sitting number 2 in profit. So it's been working. And best of luck to all this week. Great week ahead. And the Steam room is going to be free on Saturday for all. But between now and then, let's do some damage.
All right. Thank you, Gianni.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Gianni.
Let's see. 4% NBA best bet is up for us tonight. 3-0 to start the playoffs. Man, I don't know. Take this for what it's worth. So I am not feeling well. One of my mom's friends got her sick, which in turn got me sick. So I could not be more pissed off of my mom's friend. But yesterday I just felt awful, and I was like, don't put any plays in. You don't feel good. And I would have put in Jordan Goodwin for the Suns, who promptly got hurt like 5 minutes into the game. I would have put in over his points, and he got hurt and never came back. So, yeah. So if you're not feeling great, you don't have good vibes. I am always of the opinion, be careful about putting in play. So, but this play got put in a while ago, so I'm pretty excited about this one. Like I said, 3-0 to start NBA. All access clients, we got an MLB best bet that is up, and we also have a best bet that is up over at Sports Memo, only $7. So, pretty happy about that. Had a great golf week. Anybody that knows me has known me for a long period of time. Whenever I win in golf, I'm in a great mood. When I lose in golf, I'm just like really mad on Monday. Like
that's like actually playing golf. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Like it can set your Sunday mood. You know, you do a great job out there on the links. You're feeling good, so it translates, Andy. It makes sense.
which is weird because we hit our 5% best bet in live, and I don't know how many more live plays we're going to be able to have here. Like, it might be a little limited. So,
but that's the point: is you don't force it, right? You know what I mean? There was this huge outlier, and you said, "All right, this has to be a 5% for us." And if they're not there, they're not there. You know what I mean? It's the nature of the beast.
Yeah. We had our guys to finish top 10 and top 20, and they finished 1-2. So we will take it.
Definitely got top 10 and top 20 then, Andy. That's so let me make sure my math is right. Yeah, that's 1 and 2, pretty good.
Make sure you check the way the books grade. I had to argue again. If the books grade your play wrong, make sure you argue. Don't let them get away with it. I've had to go round and round with them about the top 10s and top 20s over at DraftKings. So don't let them screw you out of your money when you placed a winning bet, because they've tried to do that several times. Customer service is pretty good, but you're talking with a lot of bots, and just like you're like, no, here's a picture of your rules. You were wrong. Like, and they're like, it doesn't compute. You're like, so
that's why they want AI, Andy, is because then they can claim, incompetency. The perfect segue though is because our next guest coming back on the show here, he was gone for Masters Week, but now we got him back. The man who is always telling you, make them give you the money you're owed. Bill Krackomberger, Bill Crackman, joining the show. Bill, how we doing, brother?
Hey guys. The problem is when you call these customer service places like DraftKings, you're speaking to someone that doesn't even know what 11 to 10 is. They're reading from form letters. They're reading from just notes. A lot of them are outsourced out of the country. If you call Caesar's Palace right now, which is here, a mile from my apartment, literally I could see it from out in the windows of the high rise. But yet, if I call that number, I think I'm calling a mile away from my house, and yet I'm calling out of the country. And now they have to Now they have to reroute the call to individual properties, and it's really embarrassing because they're not even. They never gambled in their life. They've never even stepped foot in a casino. Some of these people out of the country. It's really sad what's going on. And I'm not just picking on the casino industry. I know it's a lot of different forms of customer service. However, you really have to know the pulse of your business in a gambling business. So I think I have a right to say that about casinos and sports books. Make sure you're more in tune with what's going on. But what's going on, guys, is I was in Hilton Head. I got back yesterday. I got back Saturday night. Sorry, late Saturday night. I missed a very exciting Sunday, but I had to be back for my Fox show. But more importantly, had to be back for this show. So there you go. But yeah, so I was in Hilton Head, and a great tournament there. Fitzpatrick, another masterful shot on 18. He did this a couple of years ago too, and all the fans were all rooting for Scheffler. You could see how everyone was really upset. But that kid's a good kid. I know the good and the bad guys on the golf tour. Fitzpatrick, one of the good guys. I'm friends with some caddies, and now when I say that, people say, "Wow, you're friends with caddies? You get good information?" No, they're gambling degenerates too. They just gamble. They even though they're on the bag for someone, it's amazing how many people are in the industries. And I had an announcer. This is the greatest thing. He's a talk show guy now. He called games for years of one of the big college teams. Well, not big, but one of the college teams. So he texts me a lot of, hey, this guy's out. He didn't travel with the team. I found out, Crack, you should do this. Well, after going like 1-3, I said, let me just hold on and just wait. I think his record now is 6-16. That's how bad. This guy knows the team inside and out, knows what's going on with them. And he recently said to me, I'm so sorry, Crack. These key injuries should mean more than it's not even that. It's just that I want to tell him the sports books know about these injuries. This isn't inside information. So I'm better off just sticking with what I do with my beat reporters, of course, and following them. And I do very well. with them. So, but yeah, guys, I was down at Hilton Head, down at beautiful, beautiful Hilton Head. It's like probably my favorite tournament. Even though the Masters is great, it's on everyone's bucket list. You understand? It's just a bust out joint. It's so tightly controlled that you can't get tickets, and Joe Public can't get tickets. It's not fair to them, and it costs them thousands of dollars per day compared to Hilton Head. You can get out there for $100, $150, and you're with Scheffler. You're with McIlroy played last year. You're with the top players in the world. It's a great weekend. Southern hospitality. I'm telling you. Every time I go, I realize how nice people are in the South. It's unbelievable, and it's all throughout the South, not just South Carolina. I see it in Georgia, parts of Florida, North Carolina. I have seen it. It's just really, but we're not here to talk about that, guys. We're here to talk about winners. I apologize. NBA props have been on fire. I just asked my right hand man. I said, "What's our NBA playoffs are here?" Okay, yeah, we're 20-11 on NBA props this month, plus 14 units profit, and the reason why now, even during the playoffs, you want to play these NBA props is because they're for real. The players are playing. They're going to get their minutes, no matter what the score is. So, guys, now I'm just gonna. I could basically host a show myself. I'm going to give out my own prop here.
Oh, hit it.
I know you guys were going to say, "Hey, you got a prop for today?" Yes, I do have a prop for today. Thank
Well
you,
done.
Andy and Dan. Here we go. Okay, Brandon Ingram. I'm just looking at MGM. Okay, it's over his points and rebounds and assists. 29. Yep, 29.5 minus a quarter. Game one, he had 13 points, 4 assists in the first half, but 4 only taking one shot in the second half. I expect the Raptors to make some adjustments today to get Ingram involved all game long. So, you can even go, now I'm on DraftKings. I'm looking at FanDuel. I like to give out an obtainable line. So over 30.5, if you can get minus 110, I would probably lay the over. Yes, I would. 15 cents. I'd lay over the 30.5 before minus 110 before I would lay over the 29.5 minus 1.25. So there's a couple of tidbits. Life, what's going on? I'm looking forward to preseason football already. I know it's crazy. Here we are, end of April, and I'm looking forward to
It's draft
August 1st
week.
already.
It's draft week. So that is
great.
one thing I wanted to ask you about, Bill, is obviously, NBA playoffs are going on. And as you mentioned, it's been hot, folks. He's got a 4% rocking, actually the first 4% of the NBA playoffs. You can grab that over WT.buzz/Crackman. But the draft is this week. Are clients going to have any draft props? Are they not widely available enough? Do the lines move too much? How do you attack NBA draft? I know it's something you bet, but is it something that's available for clients as well?
The money I made on a couple of years ago, that was NBA though. That was NBA draft prop. It was a 20-1 shot, 18-1, 12-1. Made a lot of money on that. Gave that out to my clients, and I have just almost not entirely given up, but the sports books realize that they can get hurt on props. NBA draft props, NFL draft props. So they only have tiny little limits, and the Nevada has even taken it a step further. You actually can't even bet here 24 hours before any of the drafts. They take the rule is they have to take the lines off the board, the sports books, but the sports books only book literally. I think even Circa, even Big Bad Circa. I mean, I love Circa. I'm just saying that, but even Big Bad Circa, I made a couple bets there because there was only a couple books that had these type of bets, and I think I know I bet the max. I think I bet $300. I mean, 300. That's their max bet was $300 on a draft prop. So yeah, it's 435 to win 300. This was and these move these if I bet it there, it's going to move instantly. But you know why I don't even give it out? Because I have to have an obtainable prop that's at. I like for it to be at MGM. I like for it to be at DraftKings, FanDuel, and maybe a couple books. I'm not going to give out one prop in one place. I love when guys do that. They send out to their clients. You can go over 14.5 yards on a player, let's say, at Hard Rock in Florida. Well, what's that going to do for the other 49 states? It's not, the other 30 states that have gambling. How does that help anybody? Like, it just pads their record, and I don't like that. I want to give out obtainable numbers. So I may have something. If someone comes in late, I'll definitely put it up there for you guys. I'll just throw it in, if you have my packages. So yeah, and I've of course, killed it over the years on props. Literally, um, like I said, I had some great information over the years. Now my guys don't even do the research like they could before, because literally we were getting down 5 to 10,000 cumulatively on props. Now we can get down maybe a dime, 800, 500. I mean, you see, draft Circa is $300 max. What's everyone else going to have? I credit Circa just to have them up. Some books don't even put them up. So here we go.
Yeah, well, so what was once a big time play with the limits, it just doesn't quite make it worth it. Well, Bill, we're happy to have you back, buddy. Glad the travel is done. I'm sure you have more coming this summer. As we mentioned, man, NBA props. I mean, that's
Yes.
what people should be expecting for you over these next coming weeks, right? Because I believe it's in the playoffs alone here, when you're rating them 3% or higher, 6-2 is what we've been seeing.
Nice.
So the higher rated props, they've been hitting, all the props been hitting 12-5 since the play-in started. So that's what people should expect over at your page, right?
Yeah, and you're not going to bet the same amount. You bet, my stuff. You have to bet what I tell you to bet percentage of bankroll wise. So you're going to bet more on props. You're going to bet more on certain things than other things. Baseball is a grind. We started out red hot, but baseball is a grind, as you guys see. It's every day, and you got to stick with the program too. It's really tough. NBA props, I'd rather put my money on NBA props right now during these playoffs for sure. More percentage of bankroll. Stick with that. Well, listen, football's right around the corner. We always have special little things we throw in there. Last night, hockey, I get some really good hockey information. Last night I had Boston, and they were winning 2-0 with like 8 minutes to go. That's giant in hockey. And for them to lose 4-3, I got upset. I usually don't get too upset, but it was a nice live dog for me. I say live dog, a nice dog. I bet it before the game started. It took $1.47 on that dog, and I seen 1-0, and then I did see 2-0, but I didn't know how much time. 8 minutes left, 2-0, and that's a lot. That's hard to lose those type of games, but it happens. And I could just imagine what the live price must have been like 10-1. They were 10-1 favorite, but it happened. So hockey's good though. I have some good live hockey, as we seen last week with the final, the Frozen Four, two more winners over there. What can I tell you guys? I do bet a lot of different things, and my stuff is very sharp syndicate bets. This is stuff that the sharpest guys in the world are betting, and I give you guys obtainable lines and good information. And I appreciate you guys liking, subscribing, following, and I'll be back next week.
Absolutely. Hit that like button if you haven't already. Hit that, Bill. Bill, always a pleasure, my friend. Good luck, and stay hot, man, in those NBA props. And the free play there, he was talking Ingram. It was Brandon Ingram. Some of the folks were asking us to let us know which player he was talking about there. So there you go. And yes, Rex, I know it's not too late to join the Flyers bandwagon. I'm well aware, but I guess I kind of have to jump on. But I don't want to jinx them. So I will watch. I watched more hockey in one night than I have in probably 10 years. But I will not jump on the bandwagon. I will just watch. So Andy, let's continue here. Talk with our man Steve Merril, who, if you're a subscriber to the channel, you've been getting every single NBA play from Steve Merril here on the channel. We'll talk about that in just a few here, Steve. But great to see you, brother. They got you slated to talk a little doubleheader. Both the LA teams in action tonight. Los Angeles Dodgers are taking on the Colorado Rockies. And then you got the Angels, who are going to be hosting the Blue Jays. Obviously, Rockies coming off of a win last night against the Dodgers. That doesn't happen very often, Steve. So I'm going to turn the mic over to you. You can break down both of these games. Let us know what we're seeing. And if you have anything to promote, let folks know in between here.
Sounds good. We got a couple baseball games tonight that we want to talk about. A couple late night games. Late night Major League Baseball here for Monday night. And don't forget, my NBA playoff video is posted. You want all 3 NBA playoff games, they're free for you here on WagerTalk TV. So click subscribe, click that bell as well. We'll start with the last game of the National League tonight at 8:40 Eastern. A battle of southpaws in Coors Field in the thin air and altitude. Wobleski and Quintana for the Rockies. Wobleski going for the Dodgers. He's been 3 appearances this year. Came out of the bullpen on March 30th against the Guardians and pitched 4 innings, and now he's started 2 games since. And he's actually been pretty good as a starter. Didn't look good the last couple years in the starting role, but he's looked a lot better so far this season. In fact, in those 2 starts against the Mets and at Toronto, 13 innings pitched, he gave up only 1 earned run. Not a lot of work in Coors Field over the years. He has an average ground ball to fly ball ratio. That's something we look for because obviously you don't want to be giving up a lot of fly balls in Coors Field with the thin air and out to the ball travels. He's at a league about 45% ground ball percentage. That's average in Major League Baseball, so not too much to grab there. But the big news for me is that the Dodgers are coming in off back-to-back losses against the Rockies. The Rockies had lost every game for a week straight. Then they won at Houston. They lost the opener Friday 7-1 as they came back home with no rest. But they have turned things on the last couple games, outscoring the Dodgers 13-9 combined. I actually look for some runs in this game. Very low total for Coors. It's hard to imagine that 11 is a low total, 11.5, but we often see 12s and 13s. I think both teams are in decent form offensively. Definitely don't want to fade the Dodgers after back-to-back losses, but I'm not sure there's a lot of value with them at minus 220. I prefer to have the over 11.5 in this game tonight at 8:40 Eastern. I think there would be some runs. Quintana, by the way, started for Colorado, has struggled this season. 5.6 ERA in 8 innings pitched, and he's had 8 walks and only 3 strikeouts. Let that sink in. 8 walks and only 3 strikeouts in 8 innings. So I think both teams can get up and over the 11.5 tonight in Coors Field. All right, your late game in the American League also involves an LA team, but they're at home at 9:38 Eastern. It must be an Angels game if it starts at 9:38 Eastern. That's the sign. Weirdest start time in baseball history. They do it every year. But we've got Toronto, the other World Series team from last year, against the Angels, and this is Cease versus Detmers. And right now we see Toronto's about a $1.15 favorite, total around 7.5 to 8, 7.5 over in some spots, 8 unders in other spots. 8 is not a key number because, as I've told you all the time, odd numbers are key, 7s and 9s because of extra innings. If a game's 4-4, it's not going to land on 8. It has to land on 9 or higher. So that difference is worth only about 15 to 20 cents. 7.5 over, minus 20, or 8 under, minus 20, basically the same thing long term. As far as this game goes, I like the side, though. I like the Toronto Blue Jays minus $1.15 in this one. And the Blue Jays snapped their 4-game losing streak, and they'd only won 1 out of 7 games, but they did it with authority yesterday on Sunday in Arizona, 10-4. Now traveling without rest, and I think they'll keep it rolling here. I like the momentum. Meanwhile, the Angels look like they are cooling off after beating the Padres 8-0 on Friday night. They only scored 1 run in each game on Saturday and Sunday and lost both of them. I think that offense is in a cool-off period while it looks like the Blue Jays might be starting to heat up. Good play-on team against a play-against team here in a basic pick-em price range. Take a look at the Toronto Blue Jays minus $1.15. Cease and Detmers tonight at 9:38 Eastern. And don't forget, all 3 NBA playoff games free for you right here, right now on WagerTalk TV. And then I'll give you all 3 games on Tuesday for free as well. I've got 2 games for Wednesday. And then don't look too far ahead, but this Thursday, 3 games, and they're back on Prime. No, it's not the NFL. It's not here yet, but we do have Thursday Prime returning, so I'm extra excited about that. And so make sure you click subscribe. You click the bell for instant alerts. Thumbs up, like, positive comments below, and I'll keep these free play videos coming. And don't forget, a lot of special offers available right now also at WagerTalk.com. The buy 3 days, get 3 more days free for just $69, dude. That's a great special. Buy 3, get 3 free. Also, I've got a promo code for a $100 discount on the 1-month all access. Get it for just $199 with promo code SM100. Instant $100 discount on the 30-day all access, SM100. Or the Summer Spectacular. Yes, it's real and they're spectacular. Drop your favorite Seinfeld quotes below. 3.5 months, all sports, all access. You see it on your screen there through August 31st. That'll get obviously the entire NBA playoffs, ton of baseball, and even some football. Summer Spectacular. By the way, that works out to like $5 a day. You know, everyone gets excited for tomorrow because it's $5 Tuesday. Every play is $5. How about getting every day for $5 for the next 3.5 months? That's like a couple dollars a play. Or if you want to get George Washington invited to the party, how about the 1-year all access? See the 1? It's 1 because it's about $1 a play for 1-year all access because I have an instant $500 discount on my page right now, along with a bonus free play for Monday. Check it out, Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com, and of course, get there quicker, wt.buzz/SM.
Oh, great stuff. 9:38.
They do that, man. They've been doing that for years. It must be a Disney
Angels
thing,
for you.
Dan. Dan, you lived out there for a while. It's got to be. I'm gonna blame Disney. Why not?
Well, they got to add in the they have to add in the extra 8 minutes. Everyone's going to be late anyways because the traffic's going to be horrible getting there. So that would actually be 6:38 their time. Everyone, they all work weird hours because everyone's in production. So Steve, they don't care. They just say put up a time. These people, especially on 420, Steve, they have no clue what time they'll be.
Don't the Blue Jays do 7:07? I think a lot. I think the Blue Jays are the ones that do. But that's a Canadian thing.
Conversion.
So, I let it. That's because they're in the Canadian time zone, so it's 7:07.
Exactly.
And we see 7:05, 7:08. It's funny though, like the NBA playoffs obviously push everything because of television. I was doing the videos late last night, Dan, and had the odds logic screen open, and the Pistons game was winding down, and then the time change pops for the Spurs 9:18 Eastern. This was about like at 8:58 or so. And I had the Spurs as a best bet for my clients. I was like, I'll go add some extra time to my package. And Andy, I went in there, and you can't edit the time once the game's expired, even though it hadn't started yet, because I was going to bump another 20 minutes and put, hey, late night special, Spurs, boom, boom. So that always cracks me up as well. 9:18 tip time.
Yeah.
No, myself and the Detroit office have come to that realization on some of my packages that
there ain't changing shit, Andy.
I can't change it. I'm sorry. I wish I could. I want to. I just can't. All right. Well, let's talk this Raptors Cavs game. This was one of the game ones that really wasn't that close. I mean, the final score is 126-113, but Raptors, kind of had a late push late in meaningless time. So honestly, it was kind of an ass kicking. Cleveland's minus 8.5 over under 222.5. Do you see more of the same, or do you see a rebound spot?
Yeah, it's a good game to talk about, Andy, because, we talk about the zigzag a lot in the NBA postseason, and that's just for those that are new sports bettors. The zigzag is you kind of play the opposite side or total from the previous game. And, Teddy Covers for years has said the zigzag doesn't work like it did in the 90s and 2000s. And I come back and say, well, the modified zigzag works. And what I mean by the modified zigzag is I like to play good quality teams. And I also have a preferred side when every series begins. And for those of you doing your NBA handicapping, I think it's very important that you have a preferred side in total for the series based on the regular season and the matchup, because once you start watching these games, you get suckered into it like, oh man, they, Toronto looked so bad. They were down 25 in game one. We can't come back with them. So you got to kind of tell yourself what side, what matchup you prefer. I bring that up because, as I said in my Saturday video, I like Cleveland in this series. We had a strong best bet on Cleveland for my clients Saturday afternoon, minus the 8.5. We got off to a nice start in the first game of the playoffs. Postseason was last week. Now it's the playoffs. So Cleveland is my preferred side in this game, but technically Toronto's in some good bounce back angles. We do often see road dogs that lose by double digits step up in game two. Often Cleveland, teams in Cleveland spot take their foot off the gas a little bit. And let's not forget, the Cavaliers were one of the worst point spread teams in the Eastern Conference this season. In fact, they were just 33-48 with a push in the regular season. One of the worst point spread teams in the league. And the reason, of course, is because they were expected to maybe be the number one seed in the East, and they ended up being only the 4 seed. I do think Cleveland wins this series, but I'm staying away from them tonight. I would like for them to lose, actually, because it would set up a strong spot probably for them in game 3 to bounce back. As far as some player props here, we will look at that. I mentioned a few of these in the video. It was a high-scoring game, 239 points on Saturday. I think we saw that top 10 Toronto defense maybe is not for real. Cleveland put up 61 in the first half. And don't forget, they won by 13. They were up by 21 after the third quarter, and then they started resting guys. Still got to 126 points. And if you look at the box score there, the two guards just dominated. James Harden and Donovan Mitchell, they had 54 points combined. And what strikes me there is that Harden was only 8 for 18 shooting. He only went to the free throw line twice. Mitchell was only 11 for 20 shooting. He only went to the free throw line 7 times, and they still got to 32 and 22 points. So I think Harden and Mitchell, both their player prop points over is worth a look. You might not win both of them. I think at worst you split out. You might get both of them because if they stop one guy, the other guy's going to go off. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I like Harden and Mitchell over. Wade's a guy that only played 22 minutes as a starter at forward. He only had 3 shot attempts, only 5 points. I'd be careful with him. Strauss off the bench did have 10 shot attempts. His 24 points, so it's probably priced him a little higher than it should be. But yeah, this is a guard series, and it doesn't look like Toronto's going to be able to slow down Harden or Mitchell. Toronto might stay within the number tonight. I would probably lean that way just based on some technical bounce back angles. But I look for Cleveland to probably win this series in maybe 5 games at the most. And if they do lose at any point in this series, I think that's when you want to come in again on the Cavs.
All right, Steve Merril breaking down baseball and NBA. Great stuff. Go check out his free plays. Go check out all of his videos. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you very much, Steve. Have a great Monday.
Thanks, boys. See you.
Thanks, Steve.
All right. One of the games tonight is Hawks and Knicks, and I believe we have a free 3-day pass to give out.
We do. We do have a free 3-day pass because those who tuned in on Friday, folks, you always have a chance to win some free action here. And we did something a little bit different on Friday. We asked you, hey, who do you think is going to win the series between the Knicks and the Hawks? And anytime your team wins a game, boom, you're going to be entered in for a free 3-day flex pass. So our first winner is Gemmo. Gemmo went with Andy. He said New York, the deeper team, and they got Deuce back, New York in the series. Boom, Gemmo. Thank you for commenting after the show was over. You won your free 3-day flex pass. Folks, if you want to go back, check out that Friday video. Maybe you can even cheat and try and get entered in post. But that's our first winner. Hawks win. Guess what? You Teddy backers are going to be entered in to win a free 3-day flex pass. We can give out to up to 7 of these, folks. That's why we ask you to comment and subscribe here on the channel. And Andy, before we give out the all around the world and end the show here for today, want to do something new too. See if you guys want to comment below in honor of WrestleMania this past weekend, Andy. If you're still watching at this point in the video, comment below and let us know who your favorite wrestler of all time is. We'll ask a random question of the day every day. So comment below and let us know who your favorite wrestler of all time is with WrestleMania. So if you watch this far, hit that like button and subscribe and let us know in the comments who your favorite wrestler of all time is.
Mine's Ultimate Warrior.
That's a great one. Mine's Undertaker. Undertaker for me. He's easy.
Pretty hard to go wrong with
either of those guys.
Yeah.
All right, let's get the folks some winners, Andy.
All right, let's do all around the world. I'll take the other 2 NBA games tonight, Hawks and the Knicks. I'll lean the Hawks in a little bit of a bounce back. The Hawks covered this number the last 3 games of the regular season. Knicks shot 48% from 3 in the first game, and Alexander Walker had 17 points, but it took him 17 shot attempts to get there. This was a very low-scoring game. I'm going to take the Hawks to lose but cover this number in a pretty close game. I lean Knicks to win just because they have Brunson, one of the best at getting fouls late in the game to get those free throws. But I think this is a really close one. I think the Hawks are a live dog. Knicks pull it out, but win a very, very close one. And then Timberwolves and Nuggets. I'll take the under 230.5. This might be a sucker bet, but I don't know why this number is so high. Each team only had 87 field goal attempts. They shot 32% and 28% from threes. And these teams just know each other really, really well. These games end up being rock fights. This was a 116-105 game. And I know it's a few years removed, but I went back and looked in that 7-game series in the 2023-2024, all 7 games went under. These teams just play really close games in the postseason. So I'll take the Hawks plus 6.5. We'll take the Timberwolves and Nuggets under 230.5. So, all right, that's going to do it for it, guys. Make sure you leave your favorite wrestler after the show is over.
Let us know
after the show is over in the comments section. So, thanks very much for joining us, guys. Please hit the like button, comment below with your favorite wrestler. We're going to give away another 3-day pass tomorrow on $5 Tuesday. Looking forward to it. Let's have a big night. Good luck on your bets, and we'll see everyone tomorrow. Take care.